We are now tackling your relationship questions.
People always want to look for red flags. Sometimes you need to look for those yellow ones.
That's today. We are now tackling your relationship questions in a special edition of Ask the Doctors. Licensed marriage and family therapist Keandra Jackson joins us now to weigh in. Welcome. Good to have you.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Well, we're excited to have you. We're going to start things off with a question from Chanel in our audience. So, Chanel, what's your question?
Hi. So I recently was dating somebody that gave me all the indications that they wanted a relationship. They picked me up for dates. They took me out on real dates. They met my friends. We were planning vacations. And a few months in, they go, I never wanted anything with you. We were just having fun. And my question is, how do you spot those people that are emotionally unavailable?
Did you state your intentions with him from the beginning?
Yeah.
You did? So you just stated you desired to be in a relationship with him?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. So the first thing I would encourage you to do is to actually do some internal work, right? So if you're seeing that this is a pattern every time you're coming up against the same men over and over again, maybe there's something internally that you may be attracting something that's not favorable. So that's one. And then two, people always want to look for, I guess you can say, red flags. But sometimes you need to look for those yellow ones. So the ones that pop up and you're a little questionable, you may want to slow down. You want to be cautious a little bit and kind of just observe a little bit. But at the same time, you know that those yellow flags may turn into red ones.
So let me ask you a question with this yellow versus red flag.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, because I'm thinking a guy's saying, let's go on vacation together. I'm thinking that he has his intentions set on maybe a true relationship.
Yeah.
So you take that. And Chanel, I don't know if there were certain red flags or yellow flags, but I'm trying to figure out for someone like Chanel, what are yellow flags? These little things to look for.
What's like a yellow light? Caution.
Yes.
Like
Slow down.
proceed carefully.
Well, number one, if he's a man, caution, yellow flag.
Oh, that's a good one.
We have yellow flags all
That's
over.
good. Write that down.
I'm a little surprised.
If he has a sex bot in his closet, yellow flag.
That's definitely red. That's definitely red.
Quickly.
Yeah, in this case, it's almost like he led her on because he was doing all the right things, showing all the signs that, yes, I'm looking and ready for a relationship too, but then all of a sudden, kind of, it just all changed.
Now let me ask you, so are there certain questions that maybe you should ask on a first or second date? Because I think a lot of times people will say, well, I don't want to scare them off. I don't want to be like, so, you want to get married? Exactly how many kids do you want? So what's your grandmama's name? What's her social security? You know, so you don't want to ask all those questions. But early on, first or second date, are there certain questions you should ask if you're really looking to be in a committed relationship?
Absolutely, and I think that will be one of the questions. You know, what is your plans? What season of the life are you in? Because there's some people out there who do want to just fling, you know, and go out and have one-night stands. But if you truly, intentionally desire to be in a relationship, you should state that very, very firmly in the beginning. Because you don't want to mislead people. You don't want to bring them on, you know, lead them on.
Chanel, did you ask him a question like that early on?
Not beating around the bush, but did you say, do you want to be in a relationship?
No, because I was afraid of chasing him off. Because a lot of people, I feel like that's something that you are always warned. Keep it, you know, keep it quiet, keep yourself, like don't push too far, because people, even if they're open to it, are gonna be like, whoa, this person's way too intense.
In fairness to Chanel, I think his actions basically implied that he was interested if they were talking about.
But I think there's a difference between asking a man, where do you see this going?
Yes.
And I'm in the phase of my life where I'm ready for a relationship. Are you? Because if he likes you,
that sounded good.
Well, to me, it's scary. It's scary when on the first date, if a woman asks you as a man on the first date or the second date, where do you see this going? That's too much because I barely know you. As opposed to if it is a man worth your time and you start talking about being in a place where you're excited to move to the next phase, if he's not afraid of that, you're not going to scare him off.
Yeah. That's fair.
And if you scare him off, probably good riddance.
Yeah. So that's fair, but maybe don't wait 7-8 months before asking, where do you see this going? Like maybe there's something in there, but at the same time on the first date, don't say, so what do you think our kids will look like? What wedding colors do you want? Don't ask that.
That would
What's your favorite name? Mine is
run him away. Yeah.
Wow, it's complex.
Yes, indeed.
So look out for those yellow flags.
Absolutely. State your intentions.
State your intentions. And again, when you go back to his apartment, make sure you look around for sex bots.
Oh.
I can't get the sex bots off my mind because now you're up here as a therapist, and I almost want to ask you what you think if you if you go into a guy's place and he's got one of those. Run.
I'm running.
That's not a yellow flag. That's not a red flag. That's
okay, but
that's like an eject button.
But this actually does segue to the next question, which is a tweet from Becca. My boyfriend has a habit of being selfish in bed. I want to bring it up, but I'm not sure what to say. How can I get him to share the love?
Relationships are all about reciprocity, though, right? So give and take, compromising. And if you're finding yourself in a relationship where there's always just one-sided, that's not really a relationship at all, to be honest with you. And so if that is the case, then I want you to think about a few different elements. Know that when you are loving someone, you can express that in different ways. It doesn't always have to be sexual, right? Everything is not always about sex. Sex bots. But
well, that's what I was saying. Getting back to the sex bot, they're also a companion of sorts. So.
We just keep coming back to this.
It just circles back over and over again. But knowing and understanding, too, that people love differently. There's love languages out there, right? So back to the communication piece, state what you desire very intentionally. If you want more or less of something in the bed, say it.
You have to.
There's a
to know
chance
what
that
you want to.
Yes.
And that means exploring your body.
That's very true.
You have to know what you want so you can communicate it to him. Nobody will know when they hit that button more than you when you hit that button. You'll be like, oh, that's the button, and then you can tell him where it is. So he doesn't have to look for it.
Is that, if I were a sex bot, this would be my button? Is that the way that conversation goes?
Don't say that. Don't say that. But I want to ask you this too, because I think there are some people out there thinking, oh, I really love my significant other, and I feel like they're trying their best. And when they're done, maybe they're sweating. They give it their all. Yeah. But it's not quite what you were hoping for. How do you have that conversation?
I think that's a very candid conversation to have. It can be a little rough sometimes because no one wants to know that they don't have good sex, right? No one wants to say, oh, you're bad in bed.
Like, that sucks.
But you want to be nice to them.
You do want to be nice to them, but at what point, no one just overnights have bad sex, right? So either it was like a progressive thing or they've always been horrible in bed. Something to consider.
Okay. Hercules. I'm going to say something from the male perspective. Never overtly tell your man you're bad in bed.
I said be nice.
He'll never recover. He will never recover. It gets back to, I'm not a therapist, but I know you tell a man that, and he will never have confidence. It has to be more along the lines of getting back to what you were saying. Hey, why don't we try this?
Right.
Yes.
And coach him.
Yeah.
And if he's not coachable,
but you have to coach him in a way that he doesn't know he's being coached.
That's the key.
Just say like, oh, you must have been a little tired today.
Don't say that. Don't write that down.
You must have had a tough day at work today.
All right, let's do one more quick question. This is a tweet from Kevin. Is having an online relationship considered cheating if I'm not doing anything physical?
That's it.
Everyone, that was a resounding yes. If you are in a committed relationship and you find yourself looking for some type of emotional or connection outside of your relationship, then that is a huge red flag. And we know that cheating looks very differently in relationships because people always assume that it's just the physical. You have to have sex and that's considered cheating, but there's emotional affairs that are out there. And we have to be cautious of that too.
And nowadays, I mean, the playing field is totally different now with phones and
social media.
Social media, internet. I mean, a lot can go on there.
Oh, yes. Sliding in someone's DM is a thing.
And sharing pictures and all that kind of stuff. I mean, okay, maybe it's not direct physical contact, but...
And frequently, I feel like people know frequently. If you're having a conversation in your head trying to figure out if you're cheating, not cheating, you probably should be cheating. And I always say, if you're in a healthy relationship, if you can't do it or say it in front of your significant other, you probably shouldn't be doing it.
Probably should not be doing it at all.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
I was thinking about this last question about meeting someone online and having a relationship with them. If it gets to that point where your significant other is having an emotional relationship with someone else online and your communication is so broken, does there come a point where you just say, you know what, we can't even communicate enough to keep you offline from flirting with other people? How do you know when to throw in the towel?
I tell people all the time to exhaust all avenues before throwing in the towel. Whether you're married or just in a committed relationship, you want to say, I've tried everything in my human ability to make it work, because you don't want to get into a relationship or end a relationship with all of these shoulda, coulda, wouldas, I should have. You want to exhaust all avenues, so make sure you do that.
We could go all day with this.
We're going to try word association.
We need to bring you back, but one last quick question, a little bit off topic, but so much online dating. So a couple tips. You finally meet somebody face to face that you've met on a match site. What's your playbook look like? What should you do?
First of all, safety. Safety is number one. That's real, because you meet people online. You just don't know who exactly you're meeting. So you always want to make sure that you're safe, that this is someone you're comfortable around. Don't put yourself in compromising situations. But also, too, just live your best life. You know, we have all of these new social media and online dating tools. Use them to the best of your ability, because people are not always finding people at the grocery store anymore. You know, not too many people are approached.
And more lasting relationships started on the internet.
Online. I have a lot of couples who met online, and they are definitely working it out. Something to think about.
Love whatever works, right?
Yes.
Keandra, thanks so much for being with us.
Good stuff.